Cross-border competition.
We have about 3,000 plus open positions.
Detroit's Henry Ford Hospital in Windsor looking to hire Canadians on the spot. Plus, new development at Harrow High.
We've just been watching it fall apart for quite a few years now, and finally they're doing something. It's going to help out the community.
What's next for the century-old former high school? And honoring Canada's heroes.
This is what we do, you know. We try to keep their memory alive.
Students show gratitude for those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us both on CTV Windsor and AM 800. Detroit's Henry Ford Hospital across the border today, hosting a recruitment event in Windsor, attracting Canadian healthcare professionals, giving on-the-spot interviews, job information, and access to immigration lawyers to help answer cross-border employment questions. CTV's Chris Campbell joining us in the newsroom tonight. Chris.
Yes, that's right, Stephanie. Hundreds of nurses and nursing students packed into the Kobodo Club this afternoon, all trying to find out what it takes to make the move or daily commute to work for one of Michigan's biggest hospital networks. Henry Ford Health says the need for skilled healthcare workers is so great, they have to look north of the border to fill those jobs.
Even amid strained trade and political relations between Canada and the U.S., the cross-border connection remains strong, especially for healthcare workers drawn by higher wages for job openings in Detroit.
We have about 3,000 plus open positions on our career site, and more than 800 are nursing. So we have all kinds of full-time, part-time, contingent roles. What fits your schedule? We have it open.
From nurses and lab technologists to support staff, Henry Ford Health is ready to hire Canadians on the spot.
We have 800 plus Canadian nurses right now working already into our system.
Recruiters from Detroit met one-on-one with Windsor area job seekers at the Kobodo Club today, hoping to fill many of those open positions.
Henry Ford's is one of the best ideal location and easy access for our Windsor residents.
Some job seekers drawn by the promise of higher wages and new experiences.
There's a lot of positions open for sure, and coming from someone who's about to be a new grad nurse, looking for full-time positions is something that I would love.
I have some friends that already work there. They talk really highly about it, and they say it's a really good work environment, good team.
Immigration lawyers were also on hand, guiding Canadians through the paperwork and visa process that comes with working in the U.S.
The U.S. healthcare system, there's been a deficit in the amount of workers available to take care of an aging population in the United States. So a lot of employers, including Henry Ford, are looking outside of the United States to recruit healthcare workers.
At the end of the day, what we are doing is offering a patient care, so to ensure that we take care of our community. Hence, they can work either in Canada or USA, and cross-border is a great way to get an experience in U.S. health system also for their own career journey.
When it comes to Windsor Regional Hospital, officials say the number of nursing vacancies here are at historic lows, but there is a shortage of diagnostic imaging professionals locally. They launched a new recruitment campaign and website today. You can find more details on that on our website at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Chris Campbell with our top story tonight. Thank you, Chris. In other news, Windsor police were called to the area of Tecumseh Road East and Moy today for reports of a person believed to be carrying a firearm. 3 area schools were put on hold and secure. Eventually, an 18-year-old male was located, and officers confirmed he was the individual carrying the firearm. The rifle was found to be a CO2 powered. It was seized for public safety. Windsor police are hoping to identify the driver in this dark-colored Dodge Challenger after shots were fired at a home on Winslow Road shortly after 9 a.m. yesterday. Police say the East End resident found several bullet holes in the exterior of the property. No one was injured. Residents in the area are asked to check for any surveillance video. Provincial police are sounding the alarm once again after a spike in so-called grandparent scams across Essex County. In Lakeshore just last week, investigators say a woman got calls from someone pretending to be a lawyer, claiming her grandson had been in a crash and needed $6,500 for bail. A man then showed up at her home to collect the cash and took off. Police say if you get a call like this, stop and verify. Call your relative directly, talk to other family members, and never hand over money or personal information to a stranger. Well, it's been nearly a decade since Harrow High School closed. Tonight, a new vision for the century-old building. The town of Essex has a new developer interested in building housing. As CTV's Michelle Molufsky reports, the future for the site won't forget the past.
A new future for the home of the Hawks.
Harrow District High School is over 114 years old.
Horizon Investment Group bought the 3-acre site to turn it into 160 residential units.
It will be inclusive, attainable, and carbon-free space.
CEO Wing On Lee says the development will have a mix of ownership and rental for 2-story townhouses and 3-story sixplexes.
This new development is not going to wipe the whole school off the map.
Lee says they plan to save 7,000 square feet for community space and possibly a Hall of Fame in homage to the staff and students who used to roam these halls.
Kind of sad to see that the school's closing.
The last class of students graduated from Harrow High in 2016 after repeated attempts to shutter the rural school as far back as the 90s. The town bought the school and surrounding grounds in 2021.
We paid $780,000. The number that we are talking about with Horizon isn't public yet, but we've got more than $780,000. So that's a good announcement because it basically means that we got the green space for free.
Neighbors turned out for the news conference Thursday, some still disappointed there's no high school in town, while others are just hopeful this project will come to fruition.
This has been sitting like this, and we've just been watching it fall apart for quite a few years now, and finally they're doing something. It's going to help out the community, which is huge.
But if others don't like the idea, Lee vows to listen.
And see what do they think is more reasonable, more affordable, or whatever thing they think that, the pricing point, the amenities, the layout of the units, whether they are meeting the community expectation. We are willing to listen and to change.
The town is now looking to schedule a public information meeting to gauge local reaction to this idea. In the meantime, Lee says it would be, quote, easy for him to get this project done in 3 years' time. In Harrow, Michelle Molufsky, CTV News.
Meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now for a first look at the weather tonight. Gary.
Good evening, Stephanie. We're talking about some showers on the way. We had sunshine to start the day, increasing cloudiness through the afternoon. Now evening will be relatively mild for this time of year through the overnight. But then things get interesting by around 7 or 8 a.m. as the system moving from west to east right across the heart of the Great Lakes makes a deposit. We're talking about some steady showers at times for the morning commute. I'll break down what you need to know as we look ahead to a weekend which will be substantially colder. For now, I'll send it back to you at the desk.
Villanova High School students spent the morning honoring Canadian War veterans, placing flags at a local cemetery. For many, it was a powerful reminder of sacrifice and freedom. CTV's Bob Belichico has this report.
We go beyond the textbook.
History teacher Paula Brownlee brought her class to the Victoria Memorial Gardens Cemetery in Oldcastle today.
One day I was driving by the Legion, and across the cemetery I saw the flags. I thought that would be a really great idea if our students did it.
Brownlee reached out to Jerry Charisic, the Poppy Chair at the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 594 on Howard, to see if her students could plant Canadian flags in honor of veterans.
This is what we do, We try to keep their memory alive.
Turns out the Legion plants flags 3 times a year. Villanova students placed flags this morning before taking a minute to reflect.
When we do this, I get happy so we can remember those who fought for us and why we have freedom.
Well, if you can see how many there are, so many graves of veterans, and they just wanted the greater good for Canada.
And I think it's important that students remember the sacrifice of our veterans.
Students noticed some of the veterans were their age when they lost their lives in combat.
It is kind of shocking though that some people died at such a young age, and it's that we're their age too. It's crazy.
So the students were here for about an hour and learned a lot, but the learning doesn't end here today. Miss Brownlee is extending this opportunity into next week, where the students will get to meet and interview veterans that are still around.
I have a list of veterans from the community, and we're reaching out to them and doing an oral history project from it.
You can better understand, and I feel like just us alone, we have no idea how they dealt with that or what they did. So I think it's a great way to better understand, and is one of the things we can do.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
This will take us to our question of the day. Do you wear a poppy leading up to Remembrance Day? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you believe the provincial and municipal governments are heading in the right direction. Out of around 600 respondents, 70% say no. The Ford government has released its fall economic statement. In it, a smaller deficit and concerns for the labor market in light of U.S. tariffs. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
U.S. tariffs cast a dark shadow on Queen's Park and the latest fiscal outlook. Recycling the title of the spring budget, the plan to protect Ontario shows a lot of downward trends. The deficit is $1 billion smaller than projected in the spring. But it's down arrows for economic growth, employment, and housing starts. The finance minister says these trying times call for a steady hand.
They demand that we protect our workers and businesses and national industries from uncertainty.
But there are few new investments here for Ontario residents and businesses under strain. There is $100 million more for a fund to help smaller businesses reach new markets. There's an expansion of a manufacturing tax credit. A $5 billion fund announced in the spring has only paid out $100 million to Algoma Steel.
We've been in the process of adjudicating those applications, and we'll be having some announcements real soon.
Not enough for the opposition. They want to know if there are strings attached to that provincial help.
Workers and their families are lying awake at night worrying about layoffs and plant closures. This premier still has no jobs plan.
The minister says the government acted back in the spring.
$30 billion of tariff supports, $9 billion in deferrals, $2 billion of WSIB rebates that are flowing to businesses so they can stay open, they can meet payroll and compete.
This plan makes official promises of $1 billion more for home care and a tax break for first-time homebuyers on some new homes. But with a predicted economic cool-down ahead,
the minister continues either to be deluded or to not being transparent when he forecasts a path to balance in 2027-28.
As the government builds new highways and contemplates a tunnel under the 401, it's ending the practice of setting greenhouse gas emission reduction targets.
They don't care about the fact that we're seeing increasing costs and risks associated with unsafe weather events fueled by the climate crisis.
Bethlen Falvey insists they're committed to reducing emissions through things like investing in nuclear energy.
So we're not going to relent, but we're going to focus on outcomes and not targets.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
We will be speaking with Ontario's finance minister a little later on in the show. The Essex Region Conservation Authority is sounding the alarm, calling the Ford government's plan to amalgamate conservation authorities disheartening.
I'm just kind of thrown back as wow, we didn't see it coming, and it's really disheartening. There's a lot of unknowns.
IRCA Chair Molly Allaire says the move would strip away local control over flooding, erosion, and watershed management issues she says require local expertise. She calls the idea of one large centralized authority unrealistic for a region like Windsor-Essex, which is surrounded on three sides by water. IRCA staff say they're left with a lot of questions about what this will mean for the land and trails that they manage.
We're going to sit back and listen, but there's a lot of unknowns, and I just want to make sure that our concerns are heard, because I don't think we sit right next to the same conservation authorities as some out there. We are so focused. We're a flat-laying land. We are surrounded by water, and we are seeing extreme storms. So to say that this will affect us the same as somewhere in Northern Ontario is not similar at all.
To an utterly unbelievable story out of Kingsville, where a cow is now mother to 4 baby calves, a phenomenon that occurs only once in about 11 million births. CTV's Robert Lothian visited the farm to get the full story.
In a matter of hours, the owners of a Kingsville hobby farm watched as their herd of cows more than doubled.
I knew she was due any time, and I seen something was going on there, so I went and looked, and yeah, she had one.
As each hour passed, Abram Nelson returned to his pasture, finding a second calf and then a third, updating his children with each development when he learned his land was the site of something remarkable.
So I was going to confess to the children because, you know, I lied to them, and I told them there was actually 3. Half an hour later, there was 4.
Beef cow Millie giving birth to a rare 4 calves. Each one came out happy, healthy, and have already received names.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
In 20 years on this farm, each birth has only resulted in 1 calf. The odds of quadruplet calves is a rarity in its own, but the odds for all to be born healthy and alive, Nelson says, is about 1 in 11.2 million.
Even in my own home with my children and all these siblings with their children, everybody was just more than excited to hear that there's 4 babies on this farm.
I hear about a triplet, but you usually want passes, and
yeah.
not these. These are four little guys and very healthy.
They stress the entire process was natural, and most importantly, each cow is healthy.
They were all feeding by mommy today. That was I was happy about that, and they're doing well.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
Flights grounded. Still ahead on Windsor's news leader, the U.S. government shutdown is forcing reductions at 40 high-traffic airports. Pay-for-play scheme. Later, Spotify faces a lawsuit alleging Drake has benefited from billions of fraudulent Spotify streams. An Ontario court has now weighed in on agreements signed between pro-Palestinian protesters and the University of Windsor. Does the deal breach business laws? That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. As we outlined earlier, Ontario's Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy tabled his fall fiscal update today. Who best to unpack the plans with us than the Ontario Minister himself. Minister, thank you for taking time to speak with us today. You included multi-billion-dollar supports and tax deferrals for businesses in this update. What measure is likely to make the most difference right now?
Well, thank you for having me. The big news is that we reduced our deficit, we've retained our path to balance, and as you said, we can also support businesses and workers. And the $30 billion in relief that we provided, I think the tax deferrals and the WSIB rebates, $9 billion and $2 billion respectively, are really having an impact on businesses. We're making big investments supporting Algoma steel workers in Windsor with shovels in the ground, expanding Highway 3, a new helicopter for Windsor, for example. So we can be fiscally responsible, invest in the economy, infrastructure, and continue to support workers.
Okay, and Minister, for those residents here in Windsor, Essex, who are critical of your fiscal update, what message do you have for them?
Well, I think we can do all the things I just mentioned. I mean, we have to think about today, and that's why we put in the supports earlier in the year, the $30 billion. We continue to make investments. You don't stop building infrastructure. We're building the interchange at EC Expressway and Banwell. We're, like I said, continuing to support the Windsor battery plant. And good jobs there. And look, I'm talking to the federal government, Francois-Philippe Champagne, and saying, look, we got to do more for workers in Windsor. We're doing that provincially. We need the federal government to continue to support. And so together, we're going to just continue to protect Ontario, build the economy, and make sure that we can have everyone prosper.
Okay, Minister, we appreciate your time tonight. In other news, New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago are among 40 American city airports slashing airline capacity. The slowdown in flight traffic begins tomorrow and could affect Canadian travelers. It's a result of a U.S. government shutdown that, as CTV Heather Wrights reports, is now the longest in U.S. history.
It's a standard Thursday at Canada's largest airport, but travelers are bracing for turbulence.
It's really unfortunate.
Transportation officials in the United States plan to slash air traffic by 10% at 40 major airports, including New York, Washington, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Reduction set to begin Friday. The Federal Aviation Administration and U.S. Transportation Department say traffic reduction is necessary to ease pressure on air traffic controllers and security screening agents who have been working without pay during the 36-day U.S. government shutdown.
If I was working, I sure as hell wouldn't want to be working without any pay.
This has worsened staff shortages, caused widespread flight delays and long security lines at American airports. And since many Canadian travelers are bound for U.S. destinations, both passengers and carriers here are expected to feel the pinch.
They're not exempt from this reduction. They will be affected by it. And the question is going to be, what does that mean?
WestJet says so far their operations have not been impacted. We are continuing to monitor the situation and proactively manage our operations to minimize any potential disruptions going forward. While Air Canada says we are monitoring the situation and awaiting more details. Adding, for customers who may be connecting onto U.S. domestic flights operated by our partner United Airlines, we have put in place a goodwill policy to allow them to change or defer their travel with no change fee. Experts warn even domestic flights could be impacted. For example, a flight from Toronto to Vancouver spends about half of its flight in U.S. airspace. Now, carriers could opt to fly through Canadian skies to avoid any disruptions, but that would add another hour to the length of that flight. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Harry, the Duke of Sussex, is in Toronto for a couple of days and meeting with some of this country's oldest former soldiers. CTV's John Valley-Rao had a chance to speak with the King's youngest son in this CTV News exclusive.
The Prince's visit took him to Toronto's Sunnybrook Veterans Centre, the biggest care facility of its kind in the country.
How old are you now? I'm almost 102.
Here, Prince Harry met with some of the nation's oldest veterans who served in either the Second World War or the Korean War, and the Prince seeming to really enjoy himself.
For me, it's the banter. It's the banter, it's the humor, it's the community that they are given here.
Here, veterans are taking part in creative art therapies, where both art and music are used to help vets with their physical and mental health. Brenda Reed, who's 101, thrilled to meet the Prince.
He certainly has lots of charm. You just talk to him. I practically called him Harry.
Prince Harry's, of course, a veteran himself. He did 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan with the British Armed Forces, saying he's just one of a long list of family members to visit veterans here.
My aunt's been here, grandmother's been here, my great-grandmother's been here. So it's a real privilege for me to be able to be here.
The Prince helping to paint poppies on a military helmet, one of several being auctioned off by the military charity True Patriot Love.
Just wanted to give you the
And towards the end of the visit, a moment of levity, the Prince was presented with a Blue Jays hat. He was widely criticized across the country after being spotted at Dodgers Stadium sporting a Dodgers hat during the World Series.
I would like to apologize to Canada for wearing it. Secondly, I was under duress. There wasn't much choice. I was invited to the LA Dodgers box, or the dugout, by the owner himself, so I was doing what I thought was the polite thing to do. But I'm going to wear this from now on to make sure I don't make any more of those mistakes.
As for the veterans,
it was really special.
They seemed pleased to meet the Prince. And for the veterans, the Prince's visit was another reminder that their service is not forgotten. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada's main stock index was down as the technology sector tumbled. In Toronto, the TSX lost 235 points. In New York, the Dow fell 399, the Nasdaq dropped 446. The Canadian dollar added a modest 0.02 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell almost $2 an ounce. Oil lost 17 cents a barrel.
I love telling people stories, and I wonder, like, what else would I do? Like, what else would I do?
Coming up, the cameraman fighting to steady his hands undergoes a groundbreaking brain surgery.
Let's take a look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Mark Hewer for brilliant image. As always, beautiful sunrise here. Just ahead, we'll talk rain and cooler temperatures coming next on CTV News Windsor.
We will never forget your bravery, your strength, your sacrifice.
The very best and bravest of our nation, these heroic souls stood on guard for freedom.
Join the CTV News team and me as Canada comes together to remember.
Remembrance Day 2025, Tuesday morning at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on CTV.
Wow, still out on the water there. Gary joins me again for an extended look at the weather, which does include rain.
Some rain coming for our Friday. Could see quite a bit of it, especially in the early morning time frame, just after, say, about 7 a.m. as some of us start to head out to work and school. And, of course, the commutes through 8, 9, and 10 a.m. could be showery as well. Today was gray in the afternoon, but sunny in the morning. Reached a high of 11 degrees. That's seasonal for this time of the year. The low this morning got down to 0.2 degrees Celsius. That 0.2 on the positive side counts, because at 0 degrees, that's when water freezes, not at plus 0.2 for those who are saying, what do fractions matter in terms of temperatures? They matter a lot. The low on this screen is good news, a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. Air quality looked good today. So, where are the temperatures? 8 degrees in Chatham-Kent, mostly cloudy. Similar sky conditions in Windsor. 9 degrees Celsius, between 46 and 48 on the Fahrenheit scale, and just getting a bit cooler. We're going to hold at around 6 or 7 degrees between 9 p.m. and the overnight before dawn tomorrow. Look at the national temperatures, much colder in Thunder Bay today. 3 degrees right now compared to 6 in Toronto, for example. The Prairie's warming up in that double-digit range in southern Alberta and Saskatchewan. Winds have certainly been a story over the last couple of days. We're still gusty through to about 10, 11 p.m. Gusts in the 35 to 45 range across extreme southwestern Ontario. There's snow in northwestern Ontario. Yep, Lake Superior shores inland. Meanwhile, rain, we're warm enough as a quick-moving front. That's the story for the morning. Rain, as mentioned, and drizzle. That's also going to impede, I think, some travel northward bound, because we're going to see a mixing in and around Georgian Bay for anyone traveling that way in the next 24 to 48 hours. So light rainfall, drizzle for tomorrow morning. Tonight is partly cloudy, holding at 7 as mentioned through to midnight, but increasing cloudiness at around 3 or 4 a.m. Rain tomorrow and a high 14, cloudy on Saturday 9, much cooler on Sunday, and rainy, 4 degrees the high, then 3 the high on Monday with a mix. And then for November's biggest day, the 11th, Remembrance, we're down to 5, 6, then 8 as we close out through to Thursday of next week.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
Now to a life-changing encounter with a surgeon. A CTV cameraman living with essential tremors that caused uncontrollable shaking in his hands recently underwent groundbreaking brain surgery tonight. CTV's Omar Sajidina takes us inside the operating room for a rare behind-the-scenes look at this procedure.
You wouldn't know it by looking at him, but for years, Kirk Neff's been silently suffering. He's an award-winning cinematographer who has traveled the world, from interviewing a prime minister to a prince to capturing the bounty of the Canadian Arctic.
I think about it all the time. I worry that I'm going to ruin the shot.
For years, he's battled a neurological condition called essential tremors. The uncontrollable shaking starts when he reaches for an object or engages in a fine motor skill like writing. That's different from Parkinson's patients who shake even in resting position.
When I was 16 years old, I noticed that I had these little shakes. I didn't really know what it was, but I started taking pills and they gave me stuff for it and it never really worked. I love my job. Like, I love telling stories. I love telling people stories, and I wonder, like, what else would I do? Like, what else would I do? I have to adjust with certain things.
To keep doing it, he's built his own kit and tweaked it over the years. Rigs and gimbals that help keep his shots steady.
Now the handles take more of the brunt of my shake.
But a chance meeting with a neurosurgeon while Kirk was on an assignment gave him the hope he'd given up on.
I put the mic and told her, and she immediately looked at me and said,
I can fix that.
This is Dr. Mojgan Hodai, a world-renowned neurosurgeon and scientist at Toronto Western Hospital.
In the back of my mind, I'm a little nervous. I mean, listen, it's brain surgery, right? This is the real deal.
We need to target a very specific point in the brain.
One wrong move could have disastrous consequences.
We cannot be off target at all.
There we go. I'll see you on the other side.
Over the next 5 hours, Dr. Mojgan Hodai will meticulously insert a small electrode inside Kirk's brain and position it next to the cells that are causing the tremors.
We need to reach a fine object deep into the brain. So this requires an accuracy, I don't play golf, but better than a hole-in-one, I think.
The electrode sends an electrical current. It's called deep brain stimulation.
By delivering a specific amount of stimulation all the time, we're interfering with the tremor networks.
And to find the area responsible, Kirk needs to stay awake the entire time.
Count from 20.
20.
We often look for the water in the bottle shaking as an indication of tremor. It's not shaking anymore.
The other end of the electrode gets connected to a device under Kirk's chest.
It's a pacemaker. So we're using a pacemaker that, rather than it pacing the heart, it paces and controls the firing of these deep cells inside the brain.
Omar Sachedina, CTV News.
Tomorrow, Kirk finds out whether the operation was successful. As temperatures continue to fall, the Windsor Youth Centre is calling on the public to help those in need stay warm. The WYC needs donations for their Hugs campaign. Items in need include hoodies, hygiene items, gloves, sleeping bags, and socks for both youth and adults. As the number of homeless grows, organizers say they are seeing more than between the ages of 16 and 25. There will also be a Hugs collection drive on Friday, November 28th at Tecumseh Mall. That runs from 9 to 5, every donation going to a person in need.
Currently, we have anywhere between 60 to 80 youth who have accessed our service this year who are actively experiencing homelessness. So they may be couch surfing, they may be sleeping on the streets, they might be staying in shelter. The difference of our youth, they might be in stable housing, but it's not necessarily affordable or not necessarily adequate.
You've heard of Split the Pot Lottery. 83 hospitals across the province, including Windsor Regional Hospital, partner up with this lottery. Proceeds from every ticket sold can either be split among Ontario hospitals or be directed to a specific hospital. Now, one of the 40 early bird winners is a Windsor man. This is Michael G. He was presented a $50,000 check today, the largest cash early bird prize ever offered by Split the Pot. The final deadline for next month's draw is November 26th. Funds from the lottery help pay for equipment such as diagnostic care equipment.
Coming up, we're going to explain the reason behind these beautiful masks.
I actually didn't get the memo that we were even supposed to bring them. I just showed up like this.
Stay tuned.
A class action lawsuit targeting streaming platform Spotify claims Canadian rappers fraudulently collected royalties owed to other artists. As CTV's Adrian Gobriel reports, the suit alleges millions of streams were being artificially boosted, resulting in big payouts to Drake and other artists.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
For Canadian rap royalty Drake, Spotify has been his own hotline to bling, cashing in an estimated $350 million off the streaming service.
And I know when that hotline bling.
Though the scathing lawsuit alleges that Drake has profited off of a fraudulent streaming scheme, the lawsuit is against Spotify. Drake is not being sued, though his name appears in the suit 32 times. The allegations against him paint a roadmap of alleged fraud. Filed in a California district court, the suit states that Spotify knows or should know that music streams for a particular song have been artificially and fraudulently inflated through the use of bots.
If we don't have strict rules and laws around streaming of music, we're going to see a lot of fabricated numbers.
A Spotify spokesperson says the company in no way benefits from the industry-wide challenge of artificial streaming, going on to say they use best-in-class systems to combat it and safeguard artist payouts.
It would benefit them a lot to exaggerate the amount of people that are using the streaming service.
You hating on numbers untouchable, they got the data wrong.
The lawsuit claims that over a 4-day period in 2024, at least 250,000 streams of Drake's song No Face originated in Turkey, but were falsely geomapped through the coordinated use of VPNs in the United Kingdom. In September, Drake became the first artist to reach 120 billion streams on Spotify. The platform pays out royalties through a stream share model where a pool of money is divided based on each artist's total streams.
It's the smaller artists that are being affected the most.
Requests for comment from Drake's representatives have so far gone unanswered. The lawsuit notes that while Drake is being used as an example, there are others. He doesn't stand alone. Adrian Gobert, CTV News, Toronto.
Attendance records were broken at this year's Windsor International Film Festival. 50,000 people took in films over the 11-day event, which featured 231 feature films from 50 different countries, everything from comedies and dramas to thrillers, horror, and action. Executive Director of WIF, Vincent Georgie, says 100 of the filmmakers flew in from across Canada and the U.S., boosting the local economy. Planning will soon begin for next year's festival. Turning now to our new weekly segment, What's Up YQG, with Johnny Parks from our sister station Virgin Radio and our own Melanie Kentner. You two, it looks like you are getting ready for Carnival Noir.
Yes, we have these beautiful masquerade masks on for a reason. Johnny, have you ever been to a masquerade ball?
Yeah, all the time. You can't tell. I actually brought this one from home. It's kind of my thing. We are here with Joe Jolasic, the president of Velvet Edge Entertainment. Can you tell us about Carnival Noir?
Yes, Carnival Noir is an annual immersive masquerade event. We're on our third year now. It's 20,000 square feet, 2 floors, nearly 100 cast members. It's grown into one of the region's largest masquerade events.
Sounds amazing. So what's the theme this year?
The theme this year is Night of the Fae. So it's fairies, kind of a dark fantasy twist on things.
I think we've all had dark fantasies, haven't we? Come on. You were talking about some of the entertainment. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
We have all sorts of acts. We have circus acts, fire performers, we have burlesque shows, musical acts, 2 DJs. We have so many performances.
And if people want to get tickets, how can they do that?
You simply go to carnivalnoir.ca.
Perfect. And don't forget your masks and your costumes. Okay, Johnny, what else is going on this weekend?
Caesars Windsor. You can see Voyage do the hits A Journey. That's happening Friday. We'll all be singing Don't Stop Believing, obviously.
Got it. Got it! You just took 1,000 pictures. Of course you got it.
Saturday, we got comedian Joe Coy taking the Coliseum stage.
Sounds like a nice variety. So what about something sporty?
Bowl for Kids' Sake is happening Friday and Saturday, and that's in support of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Windsor, Essex.
And we also have something for dog lovers.
Yeah, Bark at the Park is happening Saturday at Lansbury Park. Admission is free, but they do ask that you bring a canned food donation.
Yeah, so from canines to carnival, something for everybody. Check out the links on our website, and that's What's Up YQG.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. Hiatus House invites you to join us for the 5th annual Bark in the Park. Bring a bag of dog food for the Pet Food Bank. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Travis Fortnum. Travis, we're returning to Harrow and that new housing project there.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll remember that what was announced today is very different than what the town was originally hoping for the site. The first time Essex put out a request for proposals, it included a mandatory affordable housing component. No developers bid on that project, and now Horizon Investments says this project is attainable housing, which means prices are about 10% below market value. The CEO says the math just doesn't add up for affordable housing.
Show housing, and which take a lot of money to build, but the return from the rent you get, you're going to lose money. And as a builder, as a developer, no one is going to do any investment that guarantee a loss. And that's why nobody jumps in and make a proposal last time.
The town plans to maintain some of the green spaces and sports facilities that were part of that original high school. Those details are included in our online coverage over at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Okay, also talking about online, there's a story there. An alleged stunt driver busted in the East End.
Yeah, Windsor police say they stopped a driver going almost double the speed limit on Wyandotte East. Officers pulled over the vehicle near Central Avenue going 97 kilometers per hour in a 50 zone. The driver faces stunt driving charges, had their license suspended for 30 days, and their vehicle has been impounded for 2 weeks. And in our social spotlight tonight, we have an update on a baby hippo at the Berlin Zoo. Mom Nala gave birth to the adorable little hippo at the end of September, making the rounds on social media with his cuteness. He was a little underweight for a newborn, around 28 kilograms. The zoo just released an update of the little guy being introduced into the enclosed lagoon. Looks like he's thriving now.
Okay, we just had the story earlier about the 4 calves, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I thought that was cute. Now looking at this video, oh my God, adorable.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is, though. We don't have it here. Maybe it's like Hans or something.
Yeah,
something
we'll have
from Berlin.
yeah, we'll reach out and try and get that information for
and an
you.
Exclusive with him.
Exactly.
We need to get him. Let's bring him on.
I feel like just giving him a bath. Anyways, okay, all seriousness, if viewers at home have video they want to send you, how can they do it?
Well, we love to get our viewers' videos. We've been running some of them this week. You can email them to us at newsnow@bellmedia.ca, or you can text them to us at 10400.
Turning at the heat for a good cause. When we return, the Firefighter charity calendar just dropped. My family and I have been spending some time in the yard cleaning up the leaves that have already come down.
'Tis the season for raking leaves, and we'll see more of that with a windy overnight, and there's potential of some significant rain for the morning commute. One more look at our EnerCare 7-day forecast, calling for rain showers between about 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Still gray and windy through the afternoon, and some light showers possible. Cloudy through the weekend. Look at these temperatures, 14 tomorrow, then 9, then 4. That's the progression over the next 3 days. Cloudy with a mix, flurries possible with drizzle on Monday. Remembrance Day, looking at 5 degrees, and then 6 and 8. Fair through the midweek and a bit more cloud by Thursday. So a lot's going on, big changes, but the general trend is towards cooler temperatures.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Travis, you're on for us tonight. What are you working on?
Yeah, of course, we will have all your local news and the best weather forecast in town tonight at 11. But we also have this crazy story coming out of Michigan. A video gone viral shows a woman throwing her hot coffee at the manager of a fast food restaurant, all over a refund dispute. Distressing video that took off so quickly online. Police say they were able to identify the suspect within minutes. So we'll have that story tonight at 11.
Okay, thank you, Travis. Now, 12 Windsor firefighters are once again bearing their chests for this year's Windsor Firefighters Benefit Calendar. Take a look.
You have to purchase these calendars in person, and we have various dates throughout the months of November and December. They make a great stocking stuffer, and in addition to that, at all these events, we'll have multiple firefighters that are in the calendar, and we enjoy interacting with the community. We enjoy signing the calendars or taking pictures, so come on down and say hi to us.
Senior firefighter Corey Donaldson there, as you heard. He, along with other models, will be at a variety of locations selling the calendars, including Devonshire Mall, Windsor Regional Hospital, and select Walmarts and superstores. The locations will be posted weekly online on the Benefit Fund's Facebook page. Calendars cost $15 each or 2 for $25. The money will be donated to the Windsor Cancer Center Foundation, and I will be purchasing a few of those and for sure showing up to some of the locations to check out the guys.
I want to know how they pick who gets what month. Like, would I want my birthday month? Would I want a nice warm summer month? How do you pick?
Well, I don't know. All I know is that you guys have to check out Mr. September. Do you want to take a look?
Why is that?
I wonder who it is. Give me a second.
A familiar face,
Give me
maybe?
a second. Who's that?
That's your
Mr.
husband.
Masotti.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. Masotti, I love that. A great, obviously, cause, Windsor Cancer Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay, on behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Gary and I will be back with your next local newscast after the football game.
Good night.
Good night.